Last week, I gave you a children's nursery rhyme to relationships and understanding the nature of what happens to us. That is the complexity, in a sense, of what happens to us when we stop being who we are and become something else. That is, if you look at the design of two people coming together, it's one of the things that you get to see right away is that design, that companionship or partnership chart doesn't look anything like either one of the partners. It really is something else, and it creates its own conditions. But my real subject today is about the dilemma inherent in us. On one side, we are driven by a genetic imperative that makes what we're not so interesting. It makes it so attractive to us. The openness that we have, the hanging gates that we have, draw us to those beings who are inherently different. It's what the genes demand for reproduction, yet at the same time, as we well know, this is an open door to conditioning. My theme today is about sameness. And you see, sameness within the genetic context is boring. Not only is it boring, but it is, in terms of the way the genes operate, potentially even dangerous. Because, of course, sameness is not something that we want to see in our reproductive process. It leads to a dead end. It is variety that allows our gene pool to maintain its vitality. So genes don't like sameness. And yet sameness is something that can be, well, so special. And think about what it's like to be an unemotional being and what it's like to be with unemotional people as opposed to emotional beings. Or if you're a sacral being, what it's like to be with other generators. We all have fundamental areas within our design, in our own nature, that in fact, when we meet it in the other, is something that can be deeply comforting. Deeply comforting. I'm a manifester. It is one of the things that I enjoy in my life. Many of my friends are manifestors. There is something, well, familiar about being with something that is so similar in a way. It is true about any of the aspects that are there in your design. If you are defined mentally, it's very different to be in a conversation with somebody who's defined mentally than to be in a conversation with somebody who's undefined mentally. You see, one of the things that you get to recognize about the genetic imperative is that in the end, it's just about sex. It is about reproduction. It isn't necessarily about relationships. And it is in sameness that we find companionship. But it is a companionship that is not rooted in the same frequency as the sexual drive that is so deeply built into what we are as a form. It is a challenge for us not to reject sameness. It's a challenge for us to begin to understand how important it is to embrace it. Got a dream in a tear last night, watched the